Distinguished guests of honor. For his address, Dr. Inayat Hussain, CFA, Deputy Governor, State Bank of Pakistan.
Mr. Muhammad Ali, Minister for Energy, Power and Petroleum, Mr. Sajad Anwar, President, CFA Society, banks presidents, fellow chartered CFA chartered holders, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I was actually very amazed, and I'm sure some of you would also have amazed, when people put circular debt at the topmost problem that should be tackled by Pakistan. Most probably it is the presence of Minister for Energy that prompted it. But I was also thinking that it could be because of the presence of so many of my colleagues from banking sector who have substantial exposure to companies like PL Power Holding and other companies. They will like most probably to address this issue as quickly as possible. And I think it's no doubt that the energy sector is actually a big drag on the economy of Pakistan. And if it is addressed, substantial problems in the Pakistan economy would be taken care of. We are lucky to have Mr. Muhammad Ali to talk about that. I am going to talk about the issues that are at the lower priority than the circular debt. So some of the key messages that I will like to put across is, number one, we have been through and are still passing through a stabilization phase to address certain macroeconomic imbalances. In order to address these imbalances, we had to increase our policy rate to unprecedented level of 22%. We had to take certain actions that perhaps we have never taken, like, for example, trying to put in place certain administrative controls to curb imports, providing guidance to banks, again, to bring down the level of import. But the good thing is that it seems that we are now reasonably at a level where we have achieved to a reasonable degree the objectives for which these actions and measures had been taken. Are observing that the inflation is on a downward trajectory, and we will discuss it in a bit more detail. We have seen that our external account, the current account balance, has improved. Our FX buffers have increased, and we hope that they will continue to increase. In terms of futuristic view, our outlook for inflation, external and economic growth are all positive. As I just explained, that because of the very high inflation and current account deficit, State Bank of Pakistan, or the Monetary Policy Committee of State Bank of Pakistan, had to increase the policy rate to unprecedented level. But this increase was necessitated because of the unprecedented inflation in Pakistan as well. But as I just mentioned, that these actions have started creating results, and as a consequence of that, we have seen that the inflation peaked at 38% and then it started declining. September is or was a sort of one-off episode, and if those of you, and I'm sure most of you, would have looked at the monetary policy statement, and in the statement we did mention that we expect that the inflation will be high in the month of September, primarily because of the base effect And the outturns was a bit higher because of the recent adjustment in the fuel prices. Going forward, October onwards, our expectation is that the inflation will continue to fall. It will be a downward trajectory. And this is the primary reason because of which the Monetary Policy Committee felt that since on a forward-looking basis, the policy rate is in the positive territory, as such, there is no need to increase the policy rate any further. In terms of current account balances, because of the high policy rate and number of actions that we had taken, like I said, to curb imports, we experienced 4 months continuous current account surpluses. In the month of July, there was a substantial increase in the current account balance, primarily because of pent-up demand of imports and certain pending payments. But in the month of August, the current account surplus again narrowed, and we are expecting that the September's current account numbers would be even better. And the reason is that the trade deficit figure just released by Pakistan Bureau of Statistics show that the trade deficit is in the range of about 1.5 billion compared to 2.5 billion in the month of August. And we are also expecting that the inflows on account of remittances for the month of September would be higher than the previous month. And resultantly, the current account balance for the month of September would be much better. Going forward, our expectation is that the current account deficit would remain at a level which is reasonably manageable. And why we think so? As this graph shows that the imports have come down, and we feel that the imports would remain, import growth will remain moderate. And the reasons are, one, we understand that because of the pickup in the economic activity, the import volumes will grow, but these will be moderated because of the commodity prices which have come down, except of course the fuel prices, but other commodity prices like, for example, palm oil, coal. We had to import coal when it was about in the range of $400. It has come down sharply, and because of other prices of imports that are that we import from other countries. Export volumes, we expect that they will remain stable, and the good thing is, as this figure show, that in terms of volumes, we have seen that the high value-added textile exports, which are roughly about half of the total exports, textile exports, the volume numbers have been increasing, and we hope that this trend will continue. As I just mentioned, that the workers' remittances on average have been in the range of about around 2 billion per month. Our expectation is that the September month remittances numbers would be higher than the previous months, and this is on account of two factors. One is that the administrative actions that have been taken that have resulted in narrowing down the gap between the black market and the open market. And as a result of that, we have seen substantial increase in our inflows, both in open market. Open market is the market manned by exchange companies, and in the interbank market as well. The second is that, as you will see on the right side graph, the numbers of workers going abroad from Pakistan has been on an increase, and we hope that going forward that should have a welcome effect on the level of remittances in Pakistan. I will like to spend a couple of minutes on this graph. As you see that our reserves have increased. The lowest level on this graph, because this is a monthly graph, is 3.1 billion, but in a particular week, actually our reserves came down to around $2.8 billion. So from $2.8 billion, these reserves have increased to $7.6 billion. And on the right side is the SBP forward book, which is actually a short position. And if you see, this has also been declining, and in the at the end of August, it stands at $4.6 billion. So combined, if you combine these two factors, actually the increase in our net reserves has been much more. The important point that I wanted to make is that few months back, our reserves were very low, as I just mentioned, $2.8 billion. And at that point in time, our program with IMF was disrupted. There was a lot of speculation that Pakistan is going to default, or Pakistan will not be able to meet its external debt. Actually, some of the people started saying that Pakistan has already defaulted. From that point, here we are where our reserves have increased. We are in an IMF program. As of now, at least I have not heard anybody saying that Pakistan is going to default. But the surprising thing was that despite these improvements in the macroeconomic variables, we saw a very steep decline in the PKR value. First in the black market, and then it was followed by a steep decline in the open market, and then in the interbank market. And the primary reason was, as I think Sidra perhaps explained, that 80% of this is sentiments, and sentiments somehow were very negative. Everybody was thinking that as if nothing is going in the right direction, and there was a lot of uncertainty. Perhaps, I don't know, say some right or some wrong reasons. Recently, we have seen that because of the administrative action, because the people have stopped buying FX in the black market, the result is that because of the reduction in demand in the black market, we have seen substantial increase in the inflows in the open market and in the interbank market, and that has resulted in the stability of the in the value of PKR. So the important thing that I wanted to actually again emphasize, that we were at a very vulnerable position, and we have moved a lot away from that position, and we hope that we will continue to further move ahead on the positive in the positive direction. In addition to the actions that have been taken by State Bank of Pakistan in terms of stabilization of the economy, we are pretty hopeful that the fiscal deficit of the government will remain contained. And one primary reason of this confidence is that now at the helm of the affair is our ex-boss. And we have worked with it. Many of the people in this room, the CEOs of the bank, have worked with her. And actually, few days back, when the supplementary grant of an organization, it was not only that not accepted, it was simply not allowed to be tabled. And someone told me, mentioned that the FM is very unreasonable. And I said that perhaps if there were some unreasonable people in the past as well, the situation would have been much better. So with the tight monetary policy and with the fiscal policy in sync with the monetary policy, our expectation is that the macroeconomic imbalances will continue to get better. This is again an important slide, and I think I will request you to spend a couple of minutes on this slide. There is a lot of uncertainty in terms of the ability of Pakistan to meet its external obligations. And one of the primary reasons of this uncertainty or this sort of doubt is because it is felt that the most of the Pakistani FX foreign obligations are short-term in nature. Those have to be rolled over, and there is a high rollover risk. And if those are not rolled over, there is a risk of default. Now, to start with, our external debt has come down from 100 billion back in June 2022 to about 95 billion at the end of June 2023. More importantly, about 50% of the debt is owed to multilaterals, which is long-term in nature and which is concessional credit. Then there is a bilateral loans from friendly countries, and that is the second largest part of our debt. These are the loans or deposits that have been rolled over for a very long period of time, some of them at least, and at least we don't see any reason or doubt that these will not be rolled over going forward. Then there is Paris Club loan, again long-term. We have some Euro and Scoop global bonds which were issued by Pakistan. And then the commercial loans. As you see, that the commercial loans have declined from 9.5 to 5.6 billion. Bulk of the remaining commercial loans, which have been obtained from commercial banks, again, they are on the basis of government-to-government arrangement. So again, this part of our FX obligation is again one that we are reasonably confident that it can be rolled over quite easily. And then we have central bank deposits and others. Others include the Pakistan securities that are PKR denominated securities, like for example T-bills, PIBs, which are held by non-resident Pakistanis. These include Nya Pakistan certificates that have been issued through proceeds from Roshan digital account, and our swap liabilities and SDR from IMF. So if you look at this graph, I do not actually see any reason of major concern, but this is something that we keep on actually hearing, and this is a question that is asked by most of the people in almost every interaction that we do with the analyst or with the media. In terms of real GDP growth, last year was unfortunately pretty bad, but we hope that the growth will moderate. With the growth, as I just mentioned, that the imports will pick up, but our assessment is that that this growth will not have that sort of impact on our current account that the previous growth numbers had, largely because one, the growth numbers were very high, 5.8, 6.1. This time we are expecting the growth to be in the range of 2 to 3%. We are also expecting that part of this growth will emanate from the agriculture sector, and the good agricultural output would have a positive effect both on the inflation as well as on the current account, because we will not need to import, for example, cotton, we will not need to import wheat, And we are also expecting that the export figures for example, for rice would be much better than previous years. This is again the same point that I've just made, that although we expect the growth to be in the range of 2.2 to 3%, we still expect that the inflation again will remain within the moderate, inflation will continue to moderate. The agriculture, and again I think this is important. This year so far, if I recall correctly, the cotton arrivals have already surpassed the total cotton production last year, and the projections for the produce of rice, wheat, sugar, they are much better than previous year, and that would help the growth, that should help the inflation, and that should help the current account. Okay, so being the bank supervisor, I couldn't actually resist to put this slide. So this shows the health of the banking system in Pakistan. In the left-hand side, if you see, our net non-performing loans, because 94%, about 94 or 95% of the non-performing loans are fully provisioned. Banks are profitable, and we mentioned it yesterday as well when there were a lot of rumors about the 5 lakh insurance by Deposit Protection Corporation. Although profitability of the banking system actually has sort of a two-edged sword. On one, I think more than 50% of this profit is actually goes to the government in the form of taxes, but still people in Pakistan, I think they don't like profitability. So we keep on hearing that the banks are making lot of money. So at the end, I will just like to mention that in terms of outlook, our expectation is that the inflation will continue to moderate from October onwards. We expect that the current account deficit will remain within the manageable category because of the moderate growth in imports, relatively higher remittances, and stable exports. And we also see that the prospects of a moderate growth for this year are bright. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I will also like to thank CFA Institute for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with you. I apologize, I should have thanked the CFA Institute perhaps at the start of my my talk, and I look forward to hear from Mr. Muhammad Ali how the primary concern of circular debt will be handled, and I look forward to the question and answer session. Thank you very much.